Hi everyone, for today's content I'll be sharing with you my experience with this set of RAMs. But before I do so, I'm going to tell you two stories why am I having this RAMs. First of all, I wanted to set up a system for a very good friend. His birthday is coming and I know that he likes anything that's white. And for system itself, right, he doesn't like ARGB effects on the RAMs. So that's why I wrote into KingBank saying that, hey, look, I need a piece of RAMs. Would you mind to send it over and such? And I'll do a review for you if you have any new RAMs, which they have. They're telling me that, okay, for non-ARGB, they do not have white, but have this silver set. These are known as the KingBank KJXS Silver Heatsink DDR5 RAMs. They are 32 gig kit and a spec of cache latency 36, 38, 38, 86 and a bus speed of 6000. Drawing voltage is 1.35 volt. And having to say this, right, they did tell me that, well, these are not SK Hynix, but they will perform very well. So taking their word for it, I said that okay, I'm going to try it. And as mentioned, these are not SK Hynix. I was quite skeptic, but I still take up the challenge. This RAMs has been with me for more than a month, and I've been testing it for more than 3 weeks. And it does check out very well, which I will show you in a short while on the benchmark test. Now, so this is actually the first story where I wanted to make use of these RAMs to piece up either, as mentioned, a birthday gift to a friend. It's either to make use of the Steel Legend from S-Rock, but there are some, black and white, but I'll show you how it blends well with this, or to make use of the latest motherboard, which I will be doing a content on this. This is known as the Heatsink Street B850G Gaming Wi-Fi. See, it's pure white. So at the end of this content, right, you will be seeing how well this, the design of this RAMs, right, blend into either of the boards. So the next story is, in fact, okay, this is not prepared in this occasion, but I just want to talk about it. Now, the second story is whereby I have some of my colleagues, in fact, two of them, they have purchased a new system, DIY. So they have purchased all the RAMs and everything, but the thing is that they can't boot. The first system was a 9800X3D on a gigabyte board, but the RAMs that he purchased, right, is listed on QVM list, which are this, the Corsair Vengeance. So he can't boot and such, and he did RMA once, saying that the RAMs are not bootable, and it came back to him. He tried again, can't boot. So he came to me and was saying that, hey Cleo, this RAMs doesn't work. So I tried this RAMs on those motherboard that I have, like S-Rock, Heatsink, not Heatsink, sorry, yeah, correct, S-Rock, Heatsink, MSI, and Gigabyte. Some work, some don't work, which is kind of frustrating. And same goes to another friend who purchased the MSI Pro board, which is running on the XMP profile on Intel, which is a 265K processor. So again, testing with this team group RAMs, right, they don't work. And in hand, I don't really have any much, in fact, I don't really have any Intel board. So I can't do anything about this RAM to test it. And when I plug this, right, these are XMP profile. I plug this on AMD platform, right, it does work. Some of the boards does provide XMP profile, it does work. Only his board doesn't work at all, which is a MSI Pro, I believe it's 860 something, I can't remember. So having frustration on both systems, right, I got frustrated. I said, heck, I'm not going to use these RAMs. Let me just try on all these RAMs and see. To my surprise, all this RAM, whatever I plug, it works on both systems. So I was telling my friend, hey look, probably you can dish off all these RAMs, right, get KingBank's better. In fact, I've been telling them that I've been using KingBank's RAMs team since last year when KingBank introduced this RAMs to me, which is the KingBank Dark Heatsink. I've been using this and you have weakness, throughout my whole content creation, right? Be it whether testing on the liquid cooler or, illustrating on the motherboards, telling you the internet connection of the board and such, right? I've been using KingBank's RAM and it never failed me. So all this while, I have comments, I have, messages from Reddit, I have emails telling me that the RAMs don't work, etc., etc. my first instinct telling them that, hey, look, forget about all the RAMs, just get KingBanks. Most of them are SK Hynix. And I did tell them the actual model, except for this, which I told you that I'm skeptic. It did work, okay, throughout the whole 3 weeks. And I'll show you the result on this. Alright, with this said, the main attraction is all about this silver heatsink. So I will show you how it performs and the rest of the configuration of these RAMs. With this said, I'd like to thank KingBank to have provided this set of RAMs for me to test with. To test with and to share with all of you. And here we go. I've set up the system properly, and as you can see, these are the KingBank RAMs. Now, I'm going to show you how fast it is for the RAM training cycle. And on my left, you will see a black screen. This will show you the UEFI once after it's verifying the RAMs and throughout the cycle. And on my lower right, there is this stopwatch. Now, do take note, for the RAM training cycle, right, you'll be able to see how long it takes. I will press on this start button and to press on the stopwatch. And here we go. During this period of time, right, as you can see, the device LED is lit up. Do not do anything, do not reset, do not, clear CMOS and such. Just let it run, as this will take some time. Probably you can take a cup of coffee, or maybe, go washroom and wash up and come back again. In no time, it will boot into UEFI. Now, this is only for the very first time. See, as you can see, it's gone. So right now, just need it to boot to UEFI. And surprisingly, that this set of RAMs, right, they have very good boot up time. See, right now it's actually booting up. Then there you have it. And it takes about 46 seconds for it to boot up. It's extremely fast. In fact, I tried on other motherboards, right, it did exactly the same. Alright, in the UEFI interface, and I will show you that there are two profiles for this RAMs, as you can see, XMP and the Expo. And of course, this is of a AMD platform, so I'll just set to this. And I'll take you to Windows to show you all the stats related to this RAMs. Now, as curious, physically the RAMs looks very good, but what's made of, I wouldn't have a clue. And I've shown you when I tear off those chips, right, I couldn't figure what RAMs they are, so went into hardware info, and this is how it is. Starting off with this basic, the summary of the RAMs itself. They are running according to the specs, as you can see over here. Both slot, see, and it's a Expo profile. As mentioned to you, this support XMP and Expo. I'm running on Expo, and when I further dig into it, right, see, these are the timings and such, be it the first slot or the second slot. And when I dig deeper, wanting to know more about the RAMs itself, same on hardware info, the summary page. When I click on either slot 1 or slot 2, right, they are of the same manufacturer by KingBank as usual, and find out that the manufacturer, as mentioned, these RAMs are not SK Hynix. They are made from this Heatsink memory technology, and it's of A die. And I'll show you the rest of the specs. See, and as mentioned to you, right, these RAMs over here, they do support XMP profile. See, it will tell you everything over here. See, as mentioned, it does support XMP profile, supported. So we're just going to browse through and let you see the rest. Now, before showing you the thermal test and such, I did run from either 64, a simple benchmark, which I will show you later. Okay, so these are the specs. See, I'm actually running the Expo profile. Now, coming to either 64, let me just bring this down. So when I click on the memory, see, just show me this. So that's the reason why I pull out hardware info. But nevertheless, when I do the benchmark, right, okay, this is just a simple benchmark that I've done. These are the specs. As mentioning, these are okay timing RAMs. They are just in general to use if you want to. Now I'm just going to test the thermal on this RAMs. See how much it can take when I run this 7950X. The last 3 minutes of the throttle test, as you can see on the dim slot, which is A2 and B2, the temperature are listed over here. And take note, as mentioned, last 3 minutes, and it's hovering around 50 degrees Celsius, which to me is okay. Not really that fantastic, but still will do, so long it doesn't reaches over 55 degrees Celsius and 60 degrees Celsius. And I believe that if I use a mid-tier processor, right, instead of using the 7950X, right, it will be much better on the cooling solution. But having to say this, right, running on 7950X, look at the graph over here. This is the claw clock which I took from here, and it's pretty flat. This tells me that the RAMs is able to catch up with all the instructions provided from the processor and back, to the RAMs and back to the processor. So it's very consistent. As you can see, right, even if I have to pull to the back, see? Okay, this is actually the start. In fact, from the start, it's already very consistent, see? And there are times that it does do the max boost, which is 5.5 on this 7950X. So throughout the whole run, it's pretty smooth. And I would say that another point is that with this stability, right, it can run at 5.175 megahertz, or should I say 5.1 gig at a base clock. And having a max boost, as mentioned, this is a 7950X which having 5.5 max boost. This is a very good thing. Another thing, if I were to pull to the end, right, showing you the results. See, this is the result, which is 35K, which is on par to this 7950X. What are my thoughts about this pair of KingBank RAMs, which is known as the KJXS Silver Heatsink DDR5 RAMs? Well, as you can see, it does perform as it is, though it's not fantastically fast, though it's at CL36, but it's very consistent and stable. And the first impression when I unpack it, right, the packing is very simple, just like the rest of the KingBank RAMs that I'm using. Now you'll be wondering how come I got so much KingBank RAMs, because I've been inquiring from them, and I do trust their RAMs that much. As any motherboard, any processor that I fit in, right, all this, by the way, are with dual profile, which is X Pro and XMP. Whichever processor that I plug into any of the motherboard, I can just make use of these RAMs without any worries. They will just run as their cater speed, as in like X Pro or XMP. Now, not only this pair of RAMs is pretty light, and they are very nicely designed. Okay, some might not like it, they might want some ARGB. Let me just show you the other pair of RAMs, which is this. Now they do have ARGB RAMs for your information, which is also in white. These are known as the KingBank Blade. See, they have this ARGB. Probably you can actually watch this on my other content, which I will leave the URL at my top right hand corner. These are also performing very well. Now, having to say this, right, back to this RAMs over here. As mentioned to you, the impression is very good. It's very light, and I like RAMs without ARGB. And when I plug this to any white boards, right, it will be very nice. And having a thought that I will build this on a Steel Legend D850M motherboard. So as you can see, right, if I were to plug this in, right, you will see that how well you will blend in. Okay, let me just plug this in. And some of you might say that, hey, you should have a 4-stick. This probably I would just ask KingBank if they are able to do so. See, it blends in very well. The contrast of the silver and the material on the S-Rock Steel Legend, right, it matches nicely. See, it's very elegant. Not only this, some other motherboard, which one of the motherboard which I will be doing a review on. Okay, let me just put this one side. which is this, the Heatsink BA50G. Now this motherboard is fantastic, okay? Do check it out on my next review regarding about this board. It's a very good board. Now, back to where the RAMs, so sorry about this, KingBank, just excited about this motherboard. Also your RAMs. Now, if I were to plug this in, right, take a look. It will just fit in nicely with the color. See? The color matches, which I like. So if you build this in your board, right, and having some lightings, not full of, you know, ARGB pure and such, it will just beam to it, and it looks very nice, aesthetically very pleasing. And as I mentioned to you, right, the KingBank, right, doesn't disturb me that much, the logo. See, when you look at this angle, so nice, right? Okay, now, as mentioned, these RAMs do perform very well, consistent, and you have saw what I've shown you, a consistent rate, a stable rate for the processor to hover, or should I say hold on to the speed at 5.1 gig and having a max boost of 5.5 gig. Now the only thing that I'm concerned about, probably I would say that KingBank can improve on this, is to make something thicker or taller for this heat spreader, so that the temperature will just drop at below 50, I would say around 45 or so, which most of the KingBank RAMs that I've tested, right, they are not going anywhere above 45 degrees Celsius. It's only this pair of RAMs, and I do like this RAM a lot based on the fact that it's, you know, very simple. It doesn't take up much wattage and space. You can put, you know, big coolers, I mean air coolers and such, without having the worry of the height and such. So this is one great bonus point. And also to the fact that not only this, they are very light. Alright, some of you might be skeptic about this RAMs regarding they are not from SK Hynix. Well, as I dig on the history, right, for the Heatsink technology, right, they do have some reputation on OEM products, and I'm just going to test this RAMs. By the way, I'm just going to, you know, set up a system for my nephew, and he shall test the RAMs for me and let me know the feedback. If there's anything about this RAMs, I'll let you guys know. But just a confirmation, right, this RAMs is with me for more than about 3 weeks, and I've been testing this RAMs for a couple of weeks too, and they do check out very well. They run Prime 95, no problem. ADAS 64 run, no problem, and such. Compilation of work, no problem. As for games, I can't tell because it's like I don't play games, but I believe that these RAMs will serve very well. And on the bonus point, right, these RAMs are not expensive. If I were to check it right now, they're having a promotion which is at Singapore dollars $101, which is converted to USD at $77. So they are a real steal. With this said, I'd like to thank KingBank to have provided this RAMs for me to share with you guys. It's a very good deal on this RAMs. If you don't fancy anything like, you know, tight timing and such, you just want piece of RAM to run at stability, right, these are the RAMs to go. Thanks KingBank. And for those of you who are actually new to my channel, welcome to my channel. If you like my content, do remember to subscribe, and remember to click on the like button and to click on the notification bell button. Till then, take care, goodbye, see ya.